Hey everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just going to XRP, and once again, thank you for support. Okay, be the CoinsKid crew. So we've got Bitcoin and Ethereum, the top two coins in the market right now that are offering short opportunities. Sell, basically. The warning on the micro is, sell. So if you're buying Bitcoin or Ethereum at these prices right now, you are taking a little bit of risk. And on the macro, I'm still bullish on both of these coins and the entire crypto market because of one thing. If we take a look right now, it's a crystal ball indicator. Like I relayed to you on the macro, we've got an enormous wall of money, liquidity re-entering this market after leaving it in December. So we've got the golden line, which is a crystal ball, left the market in December. Pretty much every single coin has been correcting ever since. We've got it bottom out down here, and it's beginning to push back up, and it's taking out the range highs. So we've seen this before. You come up, you go sideways, you begin to take range highs out, and look, Bitcoin crypto eventually follows suit. You've gone sideways from March last year, where liquidity left the market, went sideways, began to break out towards the end of last year, and at that point you saw crypto and Bitcoin follow suit as well, and obviously XRP. So there's no bias there. This is why I created this indicator for you, the crystal ball indicator based on M2 global money supply. You can actually look at it on coinskid.com, and equally there's an indicator here that I create for the CoinsKid crew. Okay, to get that, just go to the CoinsKid website right there and follow the process. So basically, blue line's crypto, orange line is liquidity. So right now, this is why I do remain macro bullish, and this is something I've been showing you for a very long time. So this equally will be a clue that once we start to see this orange line, do something like it did there, come down, then it'll be a clue that you've got some kind of big macro correction in crypto again. Okay, but remember, nothing's guaranteed, nothing is set in certain. It's just it's an indicator, it's a potential clue to the future. This is why I called it the crystal ball indicator. So right now, what is going on in the markets? Looking at the markets, then we've got Bitcoin trading at roughly almost 100k right now, and we've got Ethereum pushing up towards that 2k level as well. But XRP is a little bit stagnant, still a little bit boring, isn't it? It's not really done much. It ran into that $2.35 gold candle back test. I think last Monday was looking at opportunity right there, got rejected, and it's come back. So there is a little buy zone that I relayed to the CoinsKid crew that may be the bottom of a correction, and the reason is because we might have seen a little micro 5 wave leading diagonal. So I'll go through that with you, and I'll relay that to the CoinsKid crew and the Discord. So what we're looking at right now is the top end of the market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's getting a little bit of retest. So on the micro, we are seeing sell, basically, which is a short opportunity. Or obviously, if you rode it from the buy warning, which we relayed a few weeks ago, right now is a good area to think, swing or take profit or whatever, because you are pushing into the sell on the micro. Equally, on the macro, if you take a look, Bitcoin has not been there for quite a while. The last time Bitcoin was in a sell warning on the macro was, I think, in January and December of last year. So we're pushing up. So right now we're seeing a sell warning on the macro. So like I've relayed to you, if you do start to see sell warnings or sell on the macro, that is not where you buy these coins, okay? You buy these coins when basically you're below neutral, or you've got buy warnings on the macro, for example, Matic right now. So they're the coins you should be buying, looking for opportunity, when you're in the floor. And basically Ethereum, a few weeks ago, I think on the weekly time frame, this is exactly where it was. You got your macro buy warning down there, which I relayed to you, and right now you've seen a positive reaction. In fact, Ethereum at the moment is doing the best out of the top 10. It's currently up 6.3%. So what is going on with XRP? So I'll zoom into the XRP chart with you right now, but if you are looking for micro signals, long shorts or whatever, come to the index right now. On the filter micro, we're looking for sells. So let's see what we've got. We've got all these sell warnings. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, BCH, DOT, WEEF, Pepe right now, Crow, FTN, Atom. These are all offering micro short opportunities. In fact, what you can do, just click this and you will see that it orders by the highest level of sell warning. So we've got ALF, BAN, MOG, Dual, IO, Bank. All these coins are really overbought right now. What you do, you zoom in, see if you can see a bearish type evidence. At that point, you've got an increased probability of a short playing out. Equally, if you're looking for buying opportunities, I don't necessarily think we've got many, to be honest with you. We've got all these micro coins that you can buy, because right now on the micro, they've not caught up with the front end of the market, and this is how you find your opportunities. Equally, if you go to the futures crypto blocks, you get a quick visual representation. At the moment, you've got the top end of the market is pushing to optimism and greed, but the back end of the market is still not caught up. And like I relayed to you, you've got worry and neutral zones down here. Okay, so the back end of the market, you've got Bitcoin, Ethereum pushing up. As this begins to slow down, go sideways, the back end of the market catches up, and this is how you find your spot opportunities and your long opportunities. Okay, so let's dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see. Okay, looking at XRP on the daily time frame, at the moment I think we've had a 1 since the bottom just there in July last year. I think we've had a 2. I think we had a 3, and I think this is a 4 that we're going through, and each dot represents that in this particular indicator I create for the CoinsKid crew called the CoinsKid ribbon indicator. You can get it on your charts, just go to coinskid.com. So inside of this box, I think we've got 5 waves. I don't necessarily think that's impulsive, and I've gone through this with you a million times. I think a lot of people are looking at it as an impulsive move and actually think they're wrong looking at that. I think this is an expanded flat correction, and we've got a major clue. Liquidity left the market in December. Many other charts, the tether dominance and so many other things, I actually think this is kind of A, B, and this is a complex WXY or zigzag correction, and it is zigzaggy. If you take a look at the price structure, for me, like I always relay to, the overlapping nature that we've got here for this particular chart is corrective because of the price structure. Okay, we've not necessarily seen this big impulse and this sharp rug pull, which is basically what we saw in July, I think it was, just there, where you get your big macro correction. Look, you got your big impulse and then your big rug pull, and equally as a correlation to that, as an inverse correlation, you got liquidity dance, which is an indicator created for the CoinsKid crew. This white line, liquidity is leaving the market. Look at that. Okay, so liquidity dance, it's nothing to do with M2 global money supply. I relay this to you for, it's an amazing indicator. I actually think it's a leading indicator. It's not a lagging indicator. For example, it leads the price and it gives us clues, and I've relayed that to you. Whenever we start to see spikes up in this indicator, you know, you will see the drawdown in XRP, but when you start to see liquidity coming back in, you know, you are starting to see eventually XRP come back up the stairs. So as this was coming down, look, if you look at the top, this was still coming down, and obviously, you know, the fact that it was coming down after a big spike up, you should have just been buying XRP, because it's a clue that you will get that spike up eventually, you know, because when liquidity comes back in, what happens to XRP? It comes up the stairs. Look, spike up, XRP was bottoming, as this was coming down, liquidity coming back up, what happened to XRP? Had that big move to the upside. So I actually think this is a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator, and we don't have to offset it by any days or anything, because it's reactive to price structure and it can give us clues. For example, here you got your big spike up, you're coming down, liquidity is coming back into the market, XRP is creating this bottoming process, liquidity is coming back in, this is making structural lower lows and lower highs. What's happening? XRP is coiling up and then boom, breaks out to the upside. So it's a lovely leading indicator. Okay, so what we need to see on this leading indicator is a continued downtrend, and currently we are. If you take a look, we've got a low, we've got another lower low, we've got lower highs, you know, we're coming down the stairs here in liquidity dance. So this is still in a downtrend, which obviously gives us a clue that XRP is still in an uptrend. But you know, just like this here, when you came down like this and went sideways and then eventually flushed to the downside, this is what we're looking for. I think this is where we are. I think we're this sort of correction just there for XRP, which is pretty much what we were in the summer. So one thing I'm looking at with liquidity dance, if it does begin to break out like this, which currently it's not, then obviously XRP is in a world of trouble, just like it was here. Okay, so you were spiking up, this was breaking out, liquidity was leaving the market, you know, on a daily time frame. This is Monday to Friday reporting, not over the weekend, and then boom, you got your big clue to your big macro correction right there. So this is a main indicator. Go to coinskid.com, you can drop it into your charts. By default, liquidity dance for me is white, but you can change your colour, it's entirely up to you. So I'm looking at this as clues. You've got your little peaks and troughs, and like I said to you, you see spikes up, you see pullbacks on XRP. You got a spike up just there a few weeks ago, we've got the pullback on XRP. So just keep an eye on the liquidity dance, because what we're looking at here, if it can start to roll over like this and do something like it did here, where you know you sweep these lows and you start to come down, you've got a clue to a major breakout here for XRP in the future. So we need to see this liquidity dance continually breaking down and not necessarily taking off into space, because if it does begin to take off into space, I will jump ship, I will exit my XRP position. At that point, I'm looking and I can project a macro, you know, correction there for XRP. But until that day comes, I actually think this is where we were. You know, you got your big spikes up, you're going sideways, liquidity dance is still in this downtrend, and this is exactly where we are right now. We've come up, we're going sideways, we've got this overlapping corrective price structure. I think we're in the bottoming process, and once this thing starts to, you know, print another green dot just like it did there, I think we've got another impulsive move ahead of us, and I think we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point, you know, we should print a whopping bearish divergence. Liquidity dance should bottom out and begin to come back up the stairs. At that point, you should start to see a bigger drawdown for XRP. So please pay attention to Discord posts. I'll try and get more videos out for you guys, but get liquidity dance into your charts. It's an amazing indicator. In the meantime, I just think we're in a bottoming process here. I've given some buyback targets for XRP in the Discord right there. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay off your 6 stay tuned. Take care, one back to an update on XRP. Bye bye.